In every realm, Maisie sets the bar high for our community. Class president, varsity volleyball captain, outdoor leadership ranger, freshman prefect, the list goes on. College campuses are often full of highly intelligent young people who have been taught to compete for their own self-interest and individual ambitions. They're not always full of students who have spent their high school years in service to others. I believe it's important to point out that all the leadership roles Macy holds are not simply honorary titles. They're positions of high responsibility in service of this community. Maisie cares about others and the world. I've seen how students across grade levels gravitate to her unrelenting optimism and nurturing nature. Maisie, you are a warrior for justice in this world. You are grounded in your own beliefs about what is right. You're unafraid to use your voice to rally your peers around climate change and social justice. You are a scientist and an artist, a lighthouse of positivity in a storm, and we need you now. I'm reminded of Toni Morrison's words in this moment. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. There's no time for despair. There's no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we paint. This is how civilizations heal. During this strange shelter-in-place time, you and your sister began to do just this. You created a forum through social media for teenagers to share their experiences in quarantine, creating a digital community across the entire globe. You've meditated on local controversial protests through activist art dioramas. You've kept a semblance of normalcy through starting a new job that keeps you connected with the wild, beautiful side of the world. And somehow, through it all, you've maintained characteristic positivity and heartful honesty. These are uncertain days ahead, and yet, I feel hope for the future when I think that just in a few years, you, postgraduate Macy, scientist, artist, activist, will be at the helm of our collective ship.
When I first met Nate, he was a bundle of brains and jittery energy. I observed a sophomore English class and noticed that this guy has the gift of gab. His constant stream of chatter and trickling side conversations were runoff, no doubt created by the continuous precipitation of clouds around his brain as they drew frequent attention from his teacher. During faculty meetings, his name often came up during Midlanders We Love because he was engaged, curious, intellectual, quick, and constantly bouncing back from whatever trouble he was in. Because however much he refers to himself in his chapels and self-identifies as a troublemaker, there's more to this man than mischief. He's full of what Congressman John Lewis calls good trouble. The trouble that comes from questioning things as they are. Questioning adults' expectations of adolescence. Questioning the world as it is because the world so often defies logic and reason. And yet his curiosity persists. His critical thinking persists. His desire to understand persists. And sometimes curiosity and speculation can lead to some dark places best left unexplored or through the safe pages of a book rather than reality. I'll never forget the night that I checked in Nate at 10 o'clock and discovered that he had assigned himself some independent reading, Dante's Inferno, in which the ancient Greek poet Virgil leads the 13th century Italian poet Dante Alighieri down through all 9 circles of hell. I discovered one of the sources of input that created those cloudy thoughts and questions and constant chatter. Next year, Nate was a junior in my American literature class, and with great trepidation, I assigned his class to read an experimental novel, Lincoln in the Bardo. Reading that confusing and challenging book, Nate had a question about a scene in which a ghost sees other ghosts being judged by Jesus and attending angels before they are all sent to heaven or hell. He asked, "What is this from? What other ancient literature or text shows something like this? I've never read anything like this before in Christianity or Judaism." Nate, keep asking those questions. Stay curious and keep learning. You have the keys to the answers you seek.
Hannah, your father once wrote me an email voicing the opinion that you were an unusual creature who has been able to shine because of Midland. I would say he had this statement backwards. The truth is that Midland is an unusual creature that has been able to shine because of you. As you patiently put up with having the same English teacher for 3 out of your 4 years here, I have never tired of learning alongside you. Voracious reader, meticulous writer, quiet in discussion, until the moment when you take us to that deeper place, that new angle on a text that your classmates and even your teacher had missed. As a ranger and outdoor leader, you mastered all the systems and techniques. For our experiential week that sadly never took place, my plan was to let you and Nick lead us while I just went along for the ride. You told me that you feel equipped to lead trips once you go to college, and I'm going to hold you to that promise. And head prefect, don't even get me started. Together with Jamie, you have taken assembly to new levels of theatrical greatness with skits about hand washing, hard lucks, and how to sign out. Your unflappable level-headedness helped steer us through our most successful year. It has been an honor to know you, to watch you grow, and to be your advisor.
To know Carolina is to know a deeply self-assured woman who possesses a rare combination of warmth, compassion, no-nonsense attitude, strength, and wisdom. I remember meeting and getting to know Caro over the first few days of the school year and thinking, how is this person a high school student? Though new to Midland, it did not take Caro long to hit her stride as both a support system and advocate for many of her peers. Caro is deeply passionate about social justice issues, and this commitment extends to the communities that she is a part of. I and other adults on campus have often observed Caro making sure that even the quietest voice is heard and all sides of the issue or story are considered. I held it together when we decided to close until I was walking my dog and saw Caro fixing Quinn's bangs in front of Stillman, at which point I burst into tears. I am so thankful for the time I've been able to spend with you, Caro, though it feels too short. I hope you continue to embrace fun, like reading horoscopes, having pet sea monkeys, and sleeping in the same bed as your best friend, even when you're not supposed to. You are so special. You already have everything within you that you could possibly need. I cannot wait to see the magic you bring to the rest of the world, and I really hope we get to go tide pooling together soon.
Jane, you chose me as your advisor before you had ever met me, and somehow stuck with me after you did. In hindsight, if I could have chosen just one senior as an advisee, it would have been you. Almost 2 months ago now, on what was likely our last backpacking trip together, we literally retraced our steps from a past trip a few years ago. The endless dust-choked switchbacks that broke you as a sophomore were no problem this time. When it rained for almost 24 hours straight, every time I looked at you, you smiled. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself stuck on the other side of a raging river in the snow, you wrote about how one of your classmates should be recognized for her bravery. It's hard for me to believe how much you've changed in the last few years. From the sometimes sullen, easily influenced, and somewhat aimless sophomore to who you've become today. A young beekeeper and naturalist with boundless curiosity, a dreamer and an activist with a huge heart, and a strong and passionate young woman. During quarantine, your work with Maisie to connect other teens in a time where many feel so alone makes me so proud. Jane, in tough times, don't forget that mighty oaks like you are renewed by rays of sunshine, gusts of wind, and bursts of rain.
These last 4 years, Gavin has grown not only in height, but more importantly as a person and as a horseman. The dedication that Gavin has shown the horses and the horse program over the last 4 years has been inspiring. With his participation and commitment, he has helped to shape a growing program and has left a legacy for future horse students. Gavin was one of the first sophomores to ever have a job on the horse crew. Most every morning for 3 years, he was up doing his job beating horses before the bell. In his senior year, he became head of horses at the new Kit Barn. Another first in Midland history. With Gavin's humor, extensive knowledge of what seems like the most random things, and doing what needs to be done without being asked, he led the horse crew with pride. With his talent in leatherworking, his strong work ethic, his ability to tie any kind of knot known to the planet, and his passion in cowboy tradition, he enriched the horsemanship program by inspiring and teaching new students. More importantly is the heart Gavin brought to Midland and the horsemanship program. His kindness to others, ability to make people laugh, and his amazing partnership with his horse Chaco has been inspiring to watch over the years. It has been a joy to watch Gavin grow as a horseman and as a leader. We will miss you, but you always have a home at Midland and at the horse program. Good luck in Montana.
Madeline, it has truly been a pleasure having you as a student and getting to know you over these last 2 years. You came in as a junior and quickly adapted, finding a solid place in our community, both learning from and contributing to it in many, many ways. In the Spanish and anthropology classes you've taken with me, your quiet intelligence and thoughtful contributions have always shown a sharp, discerning, critical mind. You also have an understated wry sense of humor, and that finds its greatest expression in your writing. Madeline, more than anything, you are a writer, a fantastic writer. You write beautifully, both in English and Spanish, and your compositions and essays are always beautifully organized and well written. Besides the excellent attention to structure and detail and your grammar, it's your insights and expressive abilities, both serious and funny, that makes your prose truly exceptional. I hope that you continue to develop this gift. You are a writer. You have tremendous potential as a scholar, and I have no doubt that you'll thrive in your university career and beyond. I hope that you'll stay in touch with me and with Midland, and that you will fill us in on your future successes and beyond. When I think of your intellect and your personality, and again your quiet and thoughtful intelligence, I'm reminded of a Native American saying, "One should be like water, which is lower than all things, but stronger than the mountains." Again, Madeline, congratulations on your graduation, and I wish you the very best.
Jiaqi, I want you to know that I admire how bravely you came to Midland as a new senior from China, even after you learned you might be the only Chinese girl. I admire your willingness to try whatever new things Midland asked of you. Running cross-country, working in the kitchen, sleeping outside, or appreciating the beauty of the natural world. I admire your generous capacity for love, for feeling it, for offering it, and for reflecting on it. Do you all remember Jiaqi's incredible, amazing chapel? Do you remember the list of things she hadn't prepared for? That list which began with the common, the mundane. She had prepared academically, but hadn't prepared to live in a cabin or to live with bugs. I'm pretty sure she hadn't prepared for the coronavirus that would cut her already short time at Midland even shorter. Her reflection, once so common among new students, disarmed her listeners. We could all relate. But the incredible beauty of that chapel blossomed when the list of things she hadn't prepared for shifted, ever so slightly, from the concrete to the abstract, from ants and spiders, to smiles, to friends, to feeling warm instead of lonely, to feeling love. I hope you can keep, hold, and carry all the love Midland can give you as you move on to your next journey.
YOLO. You only live once. Wikipedia declares YOLO is the acronym of the phrase, "You only live once," along the same lines as the Latin carpe diem, or seize the day. YOLO is a call to life to its fullest extent, even embracing behavior which carry inherent risk. As a freshman, this particular risk taker, Jack, contemplated Superman feats, such as leaping from one short cabin roof line to another. He calculated the risk, stated he would only take on this feat if a mattress were placed below. Those of you listening should be pleased to know that Jack did not follow through with this risk, a good sign that this teenager's prefrontal cortex can and does make good decisions. Yesterday, strolling through the library, on the comfy side, on the chair that sits in the far right corner, I spotted a single playing card. As a freshman, Jack's fingers were capable of skillfully fanning a deck of 52 cards back and forth like the tail of a beautiful bird. He would then lure you into picking a random card. You peek and you place it back into his deck, and one-handedly pivoting and spinning and weaving and shuffling the cards, Jack magically revealed your previously chosen card. Today, as a senior, these same hands form clay into vessels that hold. Jack, your mind is a vessel which holds the quest of searching life's puzzling components and shuffling them into meaning. Often disguised behind a book, earbuds, and sometimes a frown, Jacko cannot hide the soft and tender heart that we've all grown so fond of. Jack, go out, leap tall buildings in a single bound. Continue to seize your everyday. Share your magic and your wise soul. YOLO, you only live once.
Here's to Jade, the fabulous Jade, queen of the dishes, the first to volunteer for every job, the best person to sit on a floor with, who comes back stronger every time. My shoulder to stand on, captain of the circus. I'd trust you with my life. We all trust you to get the job done, but I still don't quite trust that you'll make it to breakfast on time. Jade, who wrinkles up her nose when she laughs, who cares so much and is the best of friends to all her friends, who makes us smile every day, who is the smartest, the strongest, the kindest, the wisest there is. Here's to Jade.
When I heard last year that Midland was going to have a co-ed soccer team because we didn't have enough players for both teams, I thought, it's just going to be girls sitting on the bench and boys on the field. Then I showed up to the sidelines on a Wednesday afternoon and saw a ferocious, ponytailed bolt of lightning plowing through the field. You are fierce, tenacious, and have no problem brushing shoulders with thunder. Your physicality and athleticism reminds me of a young Wonder Woman. I'm not sure you shared my nerdy comic book fantasy obsession with superheroes, so I'll remind you of some of your superpowers. According to one very questionable comic fan source, Wonder Woman had superhuman strength and durability, superhuman speed, reflexes, and agility. Sure, she could deflect bullets and grenades, but she also possessed telepathy, extreme empathy, and super healing. Liz, you are at once tougher than otherworldly steel and tender as a mouse. I'll never forget when you came up to me in class last year. I was deep in my caffeine-fueled history-cramming bender and had slept few hours. I was high-kicking and panting and heart-palpitating around the room, unable to read Lincoln's speech projected on the wall. You came up to me with a hand on my shoulder, looked me in the eyes, and said, "It's too much coffee, Ellie," and then slid me a stick of gum. You carry yourself with a maturity and compassion that magnetizes all those around you. Your friends, your prefectees feel cared for, listened to, loved. You remind me, all of us, every day, what being a strong woman looks like in this world, even during this long-distance, shelter-in-place pandemic life we find ourselves in. Every time we hop on a Zoom, you're either mid-prep for some delicious meal, or have just come in from digging a giant new garden with your family, or taking care of a new crop of baby chicks or piglets. While many of your teenage peers around the world are sitting like Netflix zombies in their living rooms, you are honing your artistic craft, painting a gorgeous octopus mural across the family refrigerator. Oh, wondrous woman, vanquisher of boredom, I'm so excited for you to hook your golden lasso around your next exciting chapter. We, the world, are dang lucky to have you as a warrior for truth, justice, and love.
Jeff Goddard, Quinn's marine biology teacher, couldn't be here today. He is where marine biologists love to be, counting fish for some official survey. I am honored to read what he wrote for Quinn. Quinn was one half of a team that left me a parting gift that meant so much during a chaotic time and that I will never forget. You rock, Quinn. Now for Jeff's words. He began, "This is for you, Quinn, for how you jumped right into Midland, the farm, and added so much to this year's marine biology class." And with apologies to E.E. Cummings. Quinlan and Millie and Molly and May went down to the beach to play one day. And Quinlan discovered shells full of stories and songs that she shared with her friends, cementing their bonds. And Millie befriended a stranded star whose rays 5 languid fingers were. And Molly was chased by a horrible thing which raced sideways while blowing bubbles. And May came home with a smooth round stone, as small as the world and as large as a lone. For whatever we lose, like a you or a me, it's always ourselves we find in the sea. Recharging those batteries aside, don't stop, Quinn. The world needs you.
Jamie, it has been a distinct pleasure to serve as your advisor for the last 3 years and to work by your side on the farm since your freshman year. To the best of my knowledge, you hold the record for the most time spent as farm intern, never stopping since you began the second term of your first year at Midland. This dedication has earned you a whopping 1 3/4 credits, fulfilling no particular requirement but your own commitment to learning about something you love. This, much more than fulfilling expectations and doing assignments, is the embodiment of what education is truly about. During your time at Midland, you've gone through a remarkable transformation. From a kind, thoughtful kid who loved punk rock and couldn't quite get his homework done, to a kind, thoughtful young man who still loves punk rock, and in addition to getting your homework done and getting into college, has become an Eagle Scout, school prefect, Midland Ranger, capable farmhand, and a solid, dependable leader in this community. Though you had some helping hands along the way, all of this is a result of your own hard work and hard-won discipline. You have earned it. Congratulations. As you make your way out into the bizarre world out there and begin to walk your own path, dodging COVID-19 zombies and hoping to have actual class someday, your wide-ranging interests and diligent work ethic will serve you well. With all of my heart, I send you off into this world with my respect, appreciation, and a heaping shovelful of love. Whatever comes your way, I'm confident that you, my friend, with a little hard work, will be just fine. And lastly, if there ever was a time to blast Black Flag with the volume all the way up, brother, this is it.
John, Charles's advisor his freshman year, and Linda, his advisor his senior year, and I, his advisor his sophomore and junior year, had to arm wrestle to see who would get to speak on behalf of Charles Bo Chong. I won. But I promised Linda that I would remind everyone that Charles has always had great timing, and that skill has served him well throughout his time here at Midland, even when he showed up a whole day early on his very first day. That next year, Charles became my advisee, and now he is my friend and someone whom I admire for his kindness, integrity, and thoughtfulness. I have watched him grow from a very suspicious sophomore, suspicious of me and my interest in getting to know him, suspicious as to why I was asking all of these questions about whether he was happy or not, or doing the right thing, to a senior who has taken every opportunity to grow, not just as an academic, but as a person. Charles not only was admitted to his top school, but was offered a sizable scholarship, which is fairly unheard of in international students. His dedication to doing things well, whether practicing the high notes to chandelier until he mastered them, his responsibility he felt for being a prefect and doing it well, or continuing the tradition of Aroma Cafe, he has grown each year at Midland, and I can only imagine him getting more successful and respected as he continues his education and adventures. Watch out, world. Here comes Charles. I can only see him as a successful businessman with a cigar in one hand and a teacup in the other. Cheers, Charles.